Hello and welcome. So I wanted to give you a brief introduction to XYZ homework so that you understand all the help that's available and how to use XYZ homework so that you can successfully complete the XYZ homework. So remember, there's two types of homework in this class. One is Canvas assignments, which are right there on the Canvas page, and the other is that you have to keep coming here to the XYZ homework and doing the assignments, right? So there's directions in the introductory module of the homework page on how to get things set up, and students usually are able to get set up pretty easily. Just follow those directions. You should be fine. So once you have your account set up in the XYZ homework, you're going to enter the class and it's going to look like this. So you can see there's a calendar on top telling you when your assignments are due. So it's very easy at a glance to see when things are due and when you can get them done. I highly recommend not waiting till the end. First of all, students generally, if you wait and you procrastinate and then you try to do a bunch of homework at the last minute, a lot of times students aren't able to finish the homework, but also you don't really learn it very well. That's not really how learning works, right? You don't want to approach learning from that perspective. You're going to learn something much better if you do some of it every single day rather than just trying to do a whole bunch of it in one evening. That's not really effective for learning. So this helps you kind of map it out, right? If you see you have 5 assignments due on Thursday, then maybe you do 1 or 2 each night leading up to Thursday, and then hopefully you only have 1 or 2 assignments to do on that last day, or maybe even no assignments to do on that last day would be great. So then you can see where things are going. So here you have a link to the ebook. Down here, there's a little introduction to the XYZ homework where they help you figure things out, and then an answer entry guide. Those are helpful because by putting in the wrong answer, sometimes you might think you're doing it the right way, but you're just not putting the answer in the way that XYZ homework wants. This will help you avoid some of that frustration. Now we say you go to chapter 1 because you can see that on this date chapter 1 is due. So you come down here, you open chapter 1, and we can see these are the homework assignments that you want to be working on. So there's a couple things you can do here. One, if you click the title, the name here, it takes you to a little video. Right? So they call it a mini lecture. So you just watch this. It'll give you some information about the types of problems that you're going to be solving. Okay, so if you go up here and click it, it says 1.1. So I'll look at the teacher preview here. You've got these different questions. You're going to answer the questions, and then you move on to the next question. Now, some students don't see this right away. Notice down here it says question help video ebook. So it gives you a link to the ebook, which is, of course, very helpful. Right? And then also a video that pertains to this problem. Now, sometimes they're not exactly like the problem that you're working on, but they're very similar. But sometimes they're basically the same problem that you're working on. So those videos right here can be very helpful to you in getting the assignments completed. Also, you have a certain number of late passes that you're allowed to use throughout this semester. So if you do get a little bit behind in one assignment, the late passes basically give you an extension on an assignment. Okay, so depending on how late that assignment is, you might have to use multiple late passes in order to get that assignment done. It basically gives you an extension. Now, you don't want to do that regularly. Getting behind in a math class can be very difficult to catch up, and then you're kind of in this stressful situation of just trying to, scrambling to not get farther behind, and that isn't really great for learning. So you really want to try to stay as caught up as you can on the assignments. And one thing you want to be careful about with the late passes is, let's see if I put it in student view here. See how it says late passes allowed? So that means that you can use a late pass on that assignment if you need to. It shouldn't charge you late passes if the assignment's not due yet. But if you try to work on it past the due date, it's just going to charge you a late pass and then go from there. Now, one thing you want to be careful about, and it's not doing this yet because none of these assignments are past due, but if you're not careful, make sure if a pop-up box comes up that you read it, because sometimes what students do is they put it into review mode, and once it's in review mode, you can't get points for those homework problems anymore. So don't put it in review mode unless you know you're not going to try to get any more points. Okay, just use some late passes to work on those assignments. Okay, so just be careful about that. Sometimes a student will click it, the pop-up pops up, and without reading it, they click through it, and now they've just put themselves in review mode, and you can't get any more points for it. So tread lightly when you're doing that. And then just make sure you get all those, all these assignments done by the due date, which is on the calendar, and it also says here when it's due. And then you'll move on to the next one, and you'll work on chapter 2. And then you'll work on the chapters until we get through everything, and the course is completed. Okay, thank you, everybody.